Year 30 is when you walk into a bar or a VFW, and in that 30 seconds, you can already tell.
That guy right there is drunk, that guy's an idiot, and that guy down there knows it all.
There are programs out there beyond the VA.
Many non-profit organizations. The Mayor 30 Show.
It's the Mayor 30 Show. Made by veterans.
For veterans.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. We will bring to everybody's attention that yesterday was Armed Forces Day. And seriously, it was not planned this way. It just kind of worked its way out. We have a special guest today. Her name is Pam Hayes. She is in charge. She's the founder. She's the president. She is the face of Armed Forces organization that does splendid, great things for wounded warriors such as ourselves. She's been doing this for as long as I've known her, for at least 5 years. But I will give her the floor here in a second. Todd,
what?
We definitely we need to find the other intro, because that's not the right intro.
Dude, that's the one we just used last week.
No,
that's the one that you sent me and we used just last week.
No,
I swear, because I pulled it from last week's file.
I don't like the violins. You must love the violins.
No, dude, I'm telling you, I think you're hearing stuff. I really do. I think you're hearing
Jared,
stuff.
did you not hear the violins?
Yeah, there's violins in there, I think, but I wasn't offended by the violins.
I don't like the violins.
Okay, well, I'll just find a new song, and we'll just do a new song, and we'll just change it.
Go visit Joel. He's there in Denver. His name's Dr. Peter Gutierrez. He's a psychologist. He can assist you with that.
Yeah, I've seen many psychologists. Nobody can help me. I just don't like violins. I don't like cats either.
I don't like cats either.
Okay.
No way. Cats are way too independent.
Yeah, see, if we had barking cats, I tell you, we need a new intro on that too.
Barking cats.
Barking cats.
We should keep that. That would be a record. Barking cats.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd be famous real quick.
Hey.
I don't know about famous.
Anything can happen.
Well, Bentley was watching YouTube the other day, and he found this video, and he was laughing his butt off to it, of this cat getting a bath. And the lady put the cat in the bath, and that cat was saying no. No kidding. The cat was saying no.
Right. Exactly.
Like the whole time during the bath. It was crazy.
Hey.
So, you never know. Maybe we can train a dog. Maybe we can train a cat to bark.
Hey, haven't you seen the YouTube videos? They've trained dogs to drive.
Those aren't real. Those aren't real.
It is real. It's on the
no.
internet. If it's on the internet, it has to be real.
If it's on the internet, it's real. That's what my mama told me.
Mama says almost that. No.
Reckon I won't do that again.
Anyway, so we'll work on that intro. Jerem, it's been a long week because we had last week off. How you guys doing?
It's been a long week.
It's going well, man.
It's a long week. When I talked to Todd on Tuesday, and I'm like, "Are you ready for tomorrow?" What, dude?
What?
This is Tuesday. Oh, my bad. I forgot that it was Tuesday. I thought it was like Saturday or Sunday. I've lost my days.
Dude, I never know what day it is. How do you think I almost missed this show? I never know what day it is, dude.
You have an iPhone.
So what? My son's on it more than I am.
Well, buy him an iPad.
No.
Well, then buy him an iPad Touch.
No. He's 4 years old. He's 4 years old. He has a knobby. He has a knobby. That's all he needs.
Blue, and maybe you could use it one day.
Say what?
SCLUE.
Without further ado, everybody, please welcome the beautiful, the talented Pam Hayes. And this is where we're supposed to have the applause that Todd likes to do all the time.
Hey, you know
I'm
what?
sure he doesn't have that set up.
Nope, sure don't. I gotta
But
order.
I could meow and play a violin if you'd like.
What?
Oh,
I lost that
sounds
one.
interesting. I want to.
I said I could meow and play the violin, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do that.
No, that's all right.
You can't offer and then back out.
What's that?
You can't offer and then back out. You're talking to veterans.
Okay. Meow.
I don't hear the violin.
I will honestly say that is the first time I did a meow on any radio or TV show.
It sounded fantastic. I think we should proceed with doing it again on the proximate next show you have.
I think you should try out. I think you should try out for Cats.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Broadway musical.
I could do meow. I could do cat voiceovers.
That would be fantastic. You get some good sponsorships going.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You never know.
And get the local community the word out.
All right, Pam. So what? So
I assume. Go ahead.
So tell us exactly what your nonprofit does, and when you started it, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I am a severe brain injury survivor, and I started it in 2009. The spiritual connection is I felt God wanted me to do this, and that happened in April of 2009. We're not a faith-based nonprofit, but for me it was just a calling I felt I had. And I was incorporated as the Armed Forces in September of 2009. We got our 501c3 shortly after that. We were very quick in getting our 501c3, so that's good. And I knew what I didn't want to do long before I knew what I was actually going to do. And I knew I didn't want to be the organization that handed out money and then patted ourselves on the back and walked away and said, job well done. Mm-hmm. Because I knew that money wasn't, it takes money to run the organization, but handing someone a check is seldom the answer to helping them reintegrate into life with traumatic brain injury or post-traumatic stress. And that's the specific population that we assist, even though we do help anybody that comes to us to at least find their, to help them find their way. As a brain injury survivor, and I know Joel and I have had conversations about his very early on, it's really hard to navigate life, and I really wanted to help people to be able to have what I was never offered through my recovery, and that was to have a life navigation coach who could remind me of things, be there for me, to encourage me, to let me know that life might not always be as bad as it was, and that even more importantly, to give me hope that one day I could still live a life of passion.
So you sent Joe, so basically you sent Joel a day planner?
Yeah, no, that would be like what other people would do, because that's exactly what happens. They give you a brochure, they give you a day planner, or they give you an app, and they say, here it is, and bye.
Yep.
Or we spend, I'm spending 4 hours at breakfast with someone, I'm a young guy who wants to talk, and, he's talked to me many times before, maybe even, but he wants to talk, and he sits down and 4+ hours are gone by because he's talking about his challenges, he's talking about his dreams, his aspirations, and how can we help get him there. And those kinds of things where you're breaking down the walls of stigma, not in some sterile environment, but maybe you're sharing pizza or eating breakfast, the old-fashioned way of actually sharing a meal and getting to know someone rather than shoving a pile of paper in their face and saying, here, make this out, we'd like to get to know you.
Ain't that the truth?
So, if you don't mind,
that hit a nerve, didn't it?
Hey, Pam, what class of TBI are you under? Are you under a mild or a severe class of TBI?
Myself personally?
Right.
Yeah, I was severe.
your
I
severity?
broke my skull in 2 places, my neck in 2 places, and my back in 9 places.
Was it open head injury then, or?
It wasn't. Well, yeah, because the skull was broken in 2 places. Yes.
Right.
And I, even with my physical injuries, I didn't get the help I needed. But I was a vocational rehabilitation counselor at Zeph Mental Health Center here in town. And that experience there really is what helped me when my neurologist said to me, "We don't do brain transplants. You just got to go learn to live your life." And those words still echo with, and still carry a bit of a pain for me, because it hurts so deeply, because it seems so cavalier to just shrug me aside because we don't do brain transplants. There was really no other option. And like, I didn't even know how to get out of his office. You know, I didn't even remember if I drove there or was there a car outside I had to go to. I didn't even know.
Did you have any issue with not understanding any spoken words?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that faking, where somebody's talking to you and you realize that it's really probably not something you need to know. Like if it's just that, they usually call it cocktail party talk, or something.
Right.
Not that I go to cocktail parties, but if it wasn't that important or I didn't think it was, I would just go, "Oh wow," or
Yeah,
that's great.
okay,
And just pray that I was saying all those right things, because I was only picking up words out of a sentence, not
Distractibility occurs a lot.
right. And that's really how, I read from the back of the book to the front of the book. Okay, so I would start at the last page when I tried to read again, and I would keep going forward, and I would do it for chapter after chapter, and I wouldn't even realize. And I've always been asked, like, did you know the words? And I said, yes, I knew the words. I could read the words. Logically I could read words, but obviously I wasn't capturing what the words really meant. They were almost like individual words on a page, even though they were in paragraphs, because I wasn't even understanding that I was reading it wrong. Because it took me
language processing with executive functions.
Right. And
Yep.
so, I figured out that I would try to go online. I mean, I wasn't even online at all before my brain injury. So I got interested in the computer a little bit, and I thought, well, I wonder if I could learn to read on a computer, because it scrolls rather than back to front.
Right.
And then I realized that the only thing I wanted to learn about was traumatic brain injury. So I became an expert by trying to help myself. I mean, I read everything. And I would, if you Google TBI, you come up with so many especially now.
Oh,
you
yeah.
come up with so many websites.
Yeah, because TBI is like the AIDS of the 90s that, I mean, just in the last 5 years, there's so much that we don't know about TBIs, and now people are starting to they're starting to comprehend, and I really think that that I never watched it because I thought it was stupid, but that the whole Army Wives episode when they were talking about the TBI and thing, I think that really brought a little bit of a spotlight to TBIs. So yeah, you're exactly right.
But what happens, I find, though, is that it's like we're the ugly stepchild. If you compared it to AIDS, and there's that thing out there that, I don't know if it was Princeton or whoever did that study that said HIV/AIDS, spinal cord injuries, breast cancer, MS, you combine them all together,
and you come up with an Army vet.
What's that?
And you come up with a vet.
Pam, my wife and I, we just got here into Houston, Texas, and I recognize with my traumatic brain injury that I am special, because people say God bless his soul all the time. And I know that they want to tell me what's going on, but sometimes I kind of not understanding the full conversation at times. And
it's a balance, because I always tell people, like, they say, oh, I feel so sorry for veterans and brain. I'm like, no. We don't want to feel sorry. I says, so that creates victims. I says, we want to have empathy. have empathy for people. Feel what it might be like to walk in their shoes, but that doesn't mean you become a blubbering mess around them, or it's not about sympathy, it's about empathy.
Right.
And I think because the brain injury being the way it is, people look at me and go, she's got the world by the tail, until they see me long term, or they see me with life changes. For instance, like, I'm moving and people have no clue, just same area, I'm moving the organization, that just to a different place and that, but my TBI is whacked right now, man, because they don't understand that how I don't say my TBI doesn't get worse, but I get less able to handle the challenges from it when so many other changes are going on. Is that true for you guys too?
What?
Like when you're going through a lot of changes in your life,
yeah,
it's not that your TBI gets worse. You just become a little less able to handle it. So this move for me, with things all out of order and my systems are all messed up because I don't know where anything that,
Right.
So I don't like my TBI.
I don't like me and myself. I don't like change. So
right.
There's a bunch of stuff in the house that kind of needs fixed, and that's okay. I can fix it. But when something's out of order, when something is in my
Different.
AO and I can't find it, or it's in a box or something, it flusters the hell out of me.
Hey, Joel. Yeah, I know how flustered you'd be if you moved 4 times in under 2 years, buddy.
Oh, I did that a lot.
Yeah.
I did that a lot just because I couldn't stand where I was because I'd forget everything. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. And now I'm trying to coach my son's t-ball team. And we got 2 games left, and I still call the kids the wrong names. I'm yelling at the kids and not even calling them by the right name. I forget when practice is. I forget when this damn podcast is. I mean, and this is something we do regularly.
I've never been a big proponent of using my iPhone for all that reminder stuff, because then I thought, oh my goodness, now I have to get in the habit of reminding myself to put the stuff in it.
Right.
But you know what? At the beginning of the year, my goal was I am going to use my online calendar, and it's called Fantastical and the number 2, Fantastical 2.
Now, do you have an iPhone or do you have an Android?
She said an iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And I use the Fantastical 2, and I'll tell you, I've been very dedicated to using it all year and setting their alarms and stuff. Now, when I don't, like today I forgot to for this, I put it in my calendar, but I didn't add the alarm to it. So that one little glitch caused me not to have an alarm. Mm-hmm. But, you could set alarms for something that happens 2 months from now,
Well, on the iPhone, I've found out that once you set up a calendar day, a time and everything,
you can hit repeat.
Actually send invites to those people, and all they have to do is hit add, and you've already set up the alert and everything.
Well, I've got everything in here from you, Joel, but my problem is that I didn't get an alarm with you. I added you, I accepted everything. Actually, no, I've only got one from, no, I don't have any of them now. Where'd they go? Oh, wait. I got one starting the 7th of June.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a future date time frame. They won't begin until that time frame.
Right.
Yeah, see, like my alarm, I could set the alarm way ahead of time, so it doesn't matter. I could even set multiple alarms. So sometimes I set it a day ahead of time, so I remember that, I've got to work a little harder to go to bed at a decent time. Because, how that goes.
Oh, you can't sleep either?
Holy Toledo. People laugh at me because they're like, oh my gosh, you're on Facebook till like 5 in the morning. I'm like, well, it's not really that I'm on. It's just that I'm up, so I check it. I'm doing research or something,
Yeah.
That's all TBI, sleep disorder.
I don't sleep. It's unless I've got Ambien or I've got like 6 pills. 6 pills of the stuff that you buy at the grocery store the dehoxidine or whatever it is, the same stuff that's in NyQuil. Unless I've got like 6 pills of that, yeah, I can drink like 4 cups of NyQuil and still not sleep. I tried to go to sleep last night, and I ended up having this weird freaking T-ball dream, and
Oh dear.
and then I woke up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep forever. And then my son sleeps downstairs, and he was up till 4 in the morning. So of course I was up, and it's just like,
Well, and
God, I
I
can't go to
think,
sleep.
The thing that, for me, like with the organization is, there is a lot of extra on my mind. There's a lot of people that are hurting, and there's a lot of people that have not one challenge, but multiple things going on in their life that, we're trying to help them through, because we do look at people holistically. It's like, one of the greatest examples I have of this is when a young man found me on LinkedIn. He was local here, but we've helped people all over the country. But he wanted help with his resume, and I just, the way we operate, I said, sure, I'd be glad to help you with your resume. He meant that he, was having trouble finding work. So I said, but I'm also wondering if you'd like to meet, because I'd like to talk about your job search and see if there's something else we could help with. Now, I just deep down knew that there was more going on than problems with the job search. I just figured that he was young, just got back from, serving and everything, that there's probably more going on. And here, he was near homeless. He had like a few days. He just found out that the mother of his child, who was pregnant again, all 7 months pregnant, found out that wasn't his child.
Oh.
So he had all these other pressures. And if I would have been like a lot of organizations and said, here's somebody that can help you with your resume, good luck in your job search, and gave him a list of names, I don't know what his life would be like today. So it's taking that extra step to say, what are you hearing without someone actually communicating it
Right.
to you?
Right.
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 And also, to me, I would say it's one human being reaching out to another. We put so many roadblocks up of who can help who, and why somebody can help somebody else, and why somebody else can't help somebody else. And, you're a combat, you're not, you're a veteran, you're a civilian, you're this, you're that. But, it still comes down to one human being helping out another.
Right.
And,
All right,
and
Pam. All right, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, it's no matter with TBI, if you're, you might have got an injury differently, but it's still trying to live life with a TBI. We still all have the same challenges.
It's all about learning to live your life, learning to live your new life, and the new
That's
challenges
right.
that you
And,
have
I
to
wrote
face.
a paper. Yeah, it is.
So
I'll send you guys, I'll send them to Joel, or you guys can Facebook me or whatever. But, I have some articles I wrote. I love to write. And I had a column in the newspaper, but actually that newspaper closed now, but I had that for about 2 years. But one of the articles I wrote were the stages of grief, and how that you would go through what normally people would think about with a death. But there was a death. There was a death of me.
right. Right.
I mean, I'm back a lot of who I was before, but there's still a lot of the old Pam that's missing, and I had to put her where I needed to put her and grieve her in order to move forward and get to that point of acceptance where I could learn to not just live, but to really have passion for life, to use my life and my experience to help others. And there's nothing more important to me than than to do that. So the Armed Forces is a blessing to me as much as it is, to the veterans and the families that we serve.
All right. Awesome. Well, Pam, real quick, we've got about 5 minutes left. So in your best ability, describe what armedforces.org is, and how people can contact you, and how you're helping veterans nowadays deal with PTSD, TBI, and other issues that are arising daily.
No, I mean I know that Pam does the military dancing with the stars, which I was wanting to try to do that this year, but um, I guess she didn't. They're not having it this year for some reason. But
Well, only
tell us a little
because
bit
Joel,
about that.
Dancing with the Military Stars was our big fundraiser, and for 3 years we did it. But it's such a huge event because it's like a major Hollywood production, that I just need a break to do some other things. And one of the other things that, because I always say we're a small, underfunded organization with a huge
Right.
reach. I mean, we've gotten court martials canceled. I've testified for Camp Lejeune for ADCEPT hearings. I've been part of the Veterans Court starting here in Toledo. Just all kinds of great things. But we started the Pause Forces this year, which is one of our programs to provide service dogs, and I wanted to do that and do it a little differently because the services of the armed forces go along with getting a service dog. So you don't just get your service dog and then have to go hunt for someone to understand your TBI and your PTSD at a gut level. No, we got that down really well. So we'll provide service dogs, and obviously it has to be local right now, but we have 2 dogs in foster homes already and 2 more soon, and trying to not overwhelm anybody, but trying to go slow and do it right rather than put out 30 of them in 1 year, because the need is great, but we want to make sure we do it right too. So taking the time to get the Pause Forces together has been great. We have a family program called LEAF, which is lifting up, educating, empowering families, where veterans and whoever they consider family, if it's a friend, if it's a mother, father, or a spouse, they come in with them and they go through the 8-week, I call it a support experience, because they do craft projects, we do other kinds of activities where they're learning and getting to know their family member but themselves, and they're also getting to know other veterans and families in the group. And it has an end to it. It's 8 weeks because we have our services after that they can use, but it's not a forever support group where you keep going.
Right.
And we do a lot of education all over. I mean, if you ever know of anybody that needs that across the country, we've done that. I've trained the Department of Defense a couple of times. I've trained a ton of JAG officers and voc rehab counselors, veteran service officers, you name it, on traumatic brain injury especially, but PTSD, because there is still such a lack of knowledge. And I will tell you, from the military judicial process, sometimes the questions I get asked by opposing attorneys tells me more about what they don't know. It's baffling sometimes. So there's still a long way to go with educating people on brain injury and why is a soldier, why is the Marine literally falling, not even falling down, but why are they falling with brain injury? Because you took their cane away, just as if somebody without a leg would fall if you took their cane away. But their cane isn't an actual cane, it's something else. So we really are the Harvard. The Department of Defense told me, the lady that called up said, what you're telling me is you're putting the heart back into care. And that was such a compliment that she understood that, because I want to get to the spirit of people wherever, and I don't mean that in a necessarily religious way, but we all have a human spirit. Until we can reach that human spirit inside of someone and really walk the path with them, don't walk ahead of them, don't walk behind them on it, just walk it with them. Right. Let them make those decisions, let them make those choices. They're not children, but help them along, show them what the options are. I mean, we just have a whole different approach, and it's a very, very friendly and easy approach.
So Pam, as an advocate, and like Todd said earlier, we're running out of time, but as an advocate, does that mean that you Are you a certified service officer then? Are you able?
I'm not a service officer because I don't need to be. You know why? Because there's a million very nice, very capable service officers out there.
Okay.
But what I would be is, we would be the people who would help you understand why you might need one, who would help you go through that process, who would educate service officers so they realize you're not just not being compliant, you're not being belligerent.
Or maybe you can advocate for that soldier to get hooked up with the right people.
That's right. Someone at the VA, I had a veteran who was drinking very, very heavily. And the response of the VA was, and this isn't VA bashing, it's just something that all social workers believe, that, well, if they're not ready, then there's nothing we can do.
Right.
And I said to his friend who brought him to me, I said, but we're the ones that can help him get ready. We're the ones who can help him, maybe give him that hope and that understanding that he really does need to go to the VA and get the help. So we're kind of the pre-one for that,
Right.
And because most social service or nonprofits and mental health, they don't have time, or the standards aren't just sit down and maybe be friends with people. And I guess that's what we do. Like I said, we develop relationships.
And that's important because anymore, I feel service officers, just like the VA, I think it's very overwhelmed. But
right. And we have, like I said, we have very little funding, but we're doing such great work, and I just pray that we can keep going, and that because the need is great. If the need wasn't great, I wouldn't get constant calls from all over the United States.
Right.
To this little nonprofit in Ohio, we would not get calls if the need wasn't that great.
All right. Well, Pam, thank you so much for sharing and being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you to all three of you for your service and
thank you.
Your ongoing sacrifices.
Thank you for your service helping soldiers like yourselves. Give us the website of your nonprofit once again, and we can be able to put that up on our Facebook page, hit that out on Twitter, and just let everybody know that they can listen to this podcast every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And do you have anything, Todd?
No.
Do you have anything, Jeremiah?
I have nothing, Joel.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and again, it's thearmsforces.org. It's ARMSFORCES.org. And again, I thank all of you for all you've done for my freedom. I really if I can help a veteran in your name, that's all I can do. But that's I'm glad to do that.
We appreciate it.
So thank you.
We really do, Pam. I will talk to you on the other side, and I hope everything goes well, Pam.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Well, our time is up. Thank you for listening. Me and Todd and Jeremy will see you guys next week, our last show on the 24th before Memorial Day, and then we will be back June 7th. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.
All right, thanks, Joel. See you next week.